Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, where were we? So we have completed abstraction. It's
Yes.
data hiding, implementation hiding, encapsulation, data hiding. We have done the inheritance.
Yes.
Inheritance, we have seen that there are 5 types of inheritance. Can
Yes.
you can you name each one of them?
Single inheritance, multi-level.
Okay. It's not important. It's usually
Yes.
single, multi-level,
Oh,
hierarchical,
yes. Yes.
and
Right.
multiple and
Hybrid.
yes, and multiple and hybrid is not allowed in Java.
Yes.
And what's the reason behind this? Uh, there, the thing is, whenever if there are two classes A and B, and both are having M1 method, right?
Hmm.
If I allow multiple inheritance, then which method, if there is a class C and I extend B and A and B class simultaneously, so what
Hmm.
usually happens, I get all the
Ambiguity.
behaviors and properties of that particular class. So I
Hmm.
get the M1 from class A and M1 class from class B as well, right?
Right.
So how would I know that which M1 to call? Because I got it from both my parents.
Right.
So this is the problem with multiple inheritance. So which one to call? So this is the issue that Java haven't solved, and they just don't allow multiple inheritance.
Right.
But then they need to provide something because we wanted to get the features of this. So they provide interfaces and other languages as well. Like for we have seen, right, for PHP also provides inheritance and they don't allow multiple inheritance. Oh, yes, multiple inheritance. Cool. So multiple inheritance hybrid not allowed. So we need inheritance for polymorphism. And this, okay, there's a small concept. Uh, I mean, and it's not even the concept. It's just a way of having conversation with people in our team. Usually there are two terms.
Okay.
First term is has a, okay,
Right.
and second is a. Have you heard of them?
Hmm. No.
Okay, cool, no issues. So there is a class A. Let's say public class. This is the class. Public class engine. Sorry, car. Okay, and the car private and public class SUV. Okay, car and let's implement SUV, or let's say extends for now. Extends SUV and private car, private engine, engine, engine. Cool. This thing cool. No issues. Because car is a class that we are creating right now, and it's
Hmm.
extending the SUV parent class.
Right.
So what we can call this, that car is a SUV, right?
Hmm.
Car is a SUV because if I take another example, public dog extends animal, so we can say dog is an animal, right?
Yes.
So similarly car is a SUV and car has a engine, right?
Okay.
So this is the way that we talk, that we require
Okay.
is a relationship or has a relationship. We are not going to say that okay, just take the variable in the class, take the engine object as a class. So we'll say just use has a relationship in
Okay.
car for engine. So this is how we communicate. So this is one thing, is and has a relationship. Okay, so whenever we do auto wire, we use has a relationship. So
Okay.
this is how the technical conversation goes. And in design patterns also, this is the same way why we use design pattern, because we shorten the amount of word that we need to understand, and it's a way of communication between developers. Okay, then we have covered this, and then these are the obsolete items. We don't need to take care of them. Okay, super we have already seen, but okay, no, super we haven't used. Okay, we can go with the super. But after overriding, just give me 1 minute.
Okay.
Overload. Okay, let's go with the overloading and polymorphism. We'll take care of super after we are done with polymorphism. So, what is polymorphism? Do you have any idea?
Polymorphism.
Come again.
Uh, mm, Polymorphism, like if two class have same methods with different parameters.
You are talking about compile time.
Overriding, overriding.
Yes,
Okay,
compile time polymorphism, that is also called overriding.
okay, okay.
So you are talking about overriding. I'm just asking you about polymorphism. If
Oh,
you want
no,
to phrase it in that way, you would have said that okay, polymorphism is having two parts: runtime polymorphism, compile time polymorphism, or
okay,
overloading or overriding.
okay,
So, and if you are saying, if someone asks you polymorphism, then you are not going to say overriding and overloading.
okay,
You're
okay,
going
okay,
to say compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism.
okay, fine.
And that's a simple part of it. But the definition will be poly means many. If we
Many
and morph means
forms.
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 So, like you mentioned, that what you were trying to say is that if we have different signature, method signature, do you remember what is the method signature?
Yes.
Method name plus parameter list
Parameterized.
is called method signature.
Method.
So, you are trying to say that if I'm right, if correct me if I'm wrong, you are trying to say that if the parameters, if the method signatures is different,
Hmm. Right.
but the method names are same,
Same. Right.
then we call it overloading, right?
Okay.
Method overloading.
Okay.
This is one part. So what happened, the my add method, like let's suppose we have taken a method add and we have two integers in it, a and b. So my
Right.
add methods can take many forms. It can take a form of addition where we are taking two parameters, or a form of addition where we are taking three parameters or four parameters. So we can go like this. So my add methods has many forms. You can use it with different parameters. So in similarly, when we go for overriding as well, my engine, my sorting algorithm, we will say it, my sorting algorithm can have many forms. It could be bubble sort, it could be merge sort, it could be quick sort, any sort it can be. So it can take many forms. And overloading is not as much important as overriding. Overriding is the most important item. Entire Spring Boot is based on overriding only. Overriding and has a relationship. Okay, so polymorphism is the ability to appear in more forms. It's called polymorphisms. Like now you're aware of forms, right? It can have many forms because the method can have different method signatures, and a particular class can have different child classes because it can change its form, and the sorting algorithm can be merge sort, quick sort based on the requirement. So one thing can exhibit more than one form is called polymorphism. One functionality with different actions is called polymorphism. One person, like the why we have written this, one functionality with different actions is called polymorphism is cause functionality is one that
Right.
log in with social media,
Right.
and but the social medias can be different. The social media
Hmm.
site can be different. It could be Instagram, X,
That's good.
or Facebook. So or even Google,
Google. Yes.
we can do consider it as well. So the functionality is same, simple. One there is one functionality, right?
Hmm.
That log in with social media apps or social media sites, and but different actions are different. How can the actions be different? Because we are choosing different social media sites.
Right.
Because the way to log in, the other item can be different because we are dependent on other websites now. So the actions is different. Functionality is one, but action is different. It's called polymorphism. We are going to pay, right? We are going to pay 1,000 rupees or 100 rupees, whatever the amount we are buying.
Right.
So, but the payment modes can be different. It can
Right.
be credit card, debit card, internet banking, UPI, ATMs. In some countries, ATMs also is there. You can go to the ATM and then surf it like a cafe and then do payment.
Right.
So there are different modes of payment that from which you can choose wallets. So one functionality is one you are paying, but how you are paying, that makes the action different.
Okay.
One person with different behavior is called polymorphism. Same item. Polymorphism is a Greek word. Poly means many, morphs means form. Then there are two types of polymorphism: compile time polymorphism, which is also called the overriding, and static binding, early binding. It's also called this. And why it is called static or early binding? Because in overloading, if there is some error, then you won't get it in runtime. It will mention you in the
Fine.
compile time only.
Okay.
Because how overloading works, it will compiler will check, right, whether
Right.
the method with a particular signature that you're trying to call is exist or not. If it
Right.
don't exist, compile time error will be thrown. So
Right.
that's why it's called compile time polymorphism.
Okay.
And compile time polymorphism will give you compile time errors, because it's already mentioned, right? Okay, cool. We haven't gone to exception handling, so you will get exceptions or errors compile time in compile time
Right.
polymorphisms. And static binding and early binding is the same, because before creating the jar or var, we are throwing the errors, or we are mapping. Instead of throwing error, the better is that we have mapped that, okay, if you have given three parameters to add, then this overloaded method will be called. This
Right.
mapping is done during the compile time only, so that's why it's called early binding, because before running we are doing this. But in runtime, we don't do this. In runtime polymorphism, or a method overriding, we don't map the methods, that which method we are about to call. We will do it in the runtime, and how we do it, we will understand it in today's or in next classes. Okay. And all right, polymorphism. Okay, if Java allows more than one method with the same name but different arguments, then it's called overloaded methods,
Oh,
right?
okay.
M1 method, these are overloaded method, right?
Hmm.
And what about this?
Yes. Yes. So metronome is same argument with different different.
Yes, they are also overloaded.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
uh, over here, we can overload the method because we just want to make the method signature different, right? Let's go and now do some practical items. Methods, okay, oops. Okay, oops, polymorphism. Runtime. Okay, my bad. I need to change the name. Compile time polymorphism. Okay, so we are at the compile time polymorphism. So there is a class A, and instead of A, let's rename this to math, my math, right? Now this is my math, and I'm okay. Integer add. Okay, and let's do void only right now. And over here, let's take A. So my class is A, right? Public void m1. So this I have called m1 method a.m1. This is how we were doing right earlier. And m1 again, but int a. So we have overloaded the method, right? Because
Right.
signature are different, but
Right.
by the number of parameters. Okay, let's say, okay, this is not by the number of parameters. Over here is nothing. Over here it's one, right? But what I can do is I can make int a in b. Okay, now I have overloaded this. If we consider these two methods, then they are overloaded because their method signature are different. What is method signature? The method name along with the number of parameter list. So over here it's only one integer, over here it's two integers. So the parameter lists are different, right? Number of parameters are different, but I can take only same number of parameter as well, like m1. Instead of taking two parameters, I can only take one, but I can change the data type. So a m1, but over here it's char c. So this is also overriding, because method signature has changed, right? So the generic definition is you will change the method signature, and method signature can be changed in two ways. One, method name needs to be same, it's mandatory item. So you can only work with, or you can only play with the number of parameters or different parameters. So all these are eligible and correct overloaded forms. Let's use runner. And a equals to new a, and then we can call m1, then we can call again m1 with 10, then we can call m1 with 10 and 20, then again we can call m1 with character a or c. If we run it, it will work fine. Now what happened? M3 a dot m3. What have we done with m3 in encapsulation? There is no m3, we have removed m3, so we should remove this as well. And again run. So we got the output correct, right? Let's just change, give some space between character c, and run it again. So we get the output, right? It's overloaded. Yogesh, there? Yogesh? Hello? If you're trying to say something, your voice is not going through.
Yes. Hello.
Okay, now it's little bit audible, but it seems like you are way too far away from your mic.
Hello.
Yes, now it's fine. So till here it's clear, right?
Okay. Yes. Clear.
Okay, now let's move to different item. So you were aware of this overloading earlier as well,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Yes.
So let's go and let's say that we have int a. Cool. What I want to do
Right.
is, and I want to overload it. It's my math class, right? And I want to return a plus b. Cool, no issues. I'll create a runner of it, and psvm, and then my math, and then math equals to new my math. And if I just do sysout math dot add 10 and 20, what will I get?
30.
If I run it, 30 is the output, right?
Right.
And but it's not important for us to print this. We want to know which method we called. So
Yes.
before printing this, what we are going to do is we will just mention that, okay, so my math is called, my math int, only int add is called, because
Right.
I'm not taking examples of different parameter items. Like
Right.
there can be this thing, I'm not elaborating this because I think you are well aware of it. If I change the
Right.
parameter list and name, then it will work according to
Right.
that. It's way too easy, and no one get confused with that. What we are doing is it can becomes a little tricky somehow.
You're right.
Okay, so now what will happen? Return output, instead of 30, we will get that, okay, we have called integer add, right?
Right.
Now you remember the ranges, right? Range of methods. Oh, sorry. Range of primitive data types.
Okay.
You remember it, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you need to tell me how and what will be the output. Okay, so what I will do, you remember that there is a byte, you
Yes.
remember it, right?
Yes.
So instead of byte, I will make all byte, right? And over here I will also write byte. I have made no changes, but just I have changed the integer to byte. Cool.
Yeah.
And if I want to do my math dot add, and what's the range of byte?
I guess 256.
Come again?
8 bit 256.
But 256 is total.
Okay.
Integers are from negative to
128 to
positive.
1. Minus 128 to 127.
Minus 128 to 127.
Okay.
Because we consider 0 as positive as well, so
Yes.
it becomes 1 minus 128 to 127. So now tell me, if I call math dot add, right, and I remove this, which method will be called? What will be the output?
Can you show the other side? Another-
Other side is in this.
another-
Normal method call is
Okay. But it's called it should take in.
again your voice is coming from
Okay.
distance.
Okay. Hello. Now you're getting voice.
Yes, it's audible now.
Okay. So it should take integer.
It should take integer. I want you to look at over here. Why? Because
Hmm.
10 and 20 is in range of
Mm-hmm.
byte range. Why then
Yes,
integer?
yes. And actually, I'm not pretty sure. Just guess.
Okay. The answer is compile time error.
Okay.
C.
Okay. Both are what you will get. Okay. Okay. Got
And
it.
can you tell me why there is a compile time error if I try to run it?
Possible logic conversion from int to byte.
Yes. The thing is, because what I'm trying to do over here is I'm trying to add two integers, right?
Right. Right.
And let me show you something first. If I do it int, right, I'm adding 2 byte and I'm converting it into int. Then if
Okay.
I run it, then it will won't give me error. But before it was showing a lossy conversion, right? You are from IT background, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay, so what is lossy conversion? That you lost the data, right?
Don't.
I'm sending 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and if I
Okay.
send from my system this data and you receive only 149, then there is a loss in data,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So this is lossy conversion. When we convert the images also, the photo quality sometimes decreased, so that's called lossy
Okay.
conversions. So what will
Okay.
happen, because the thing is, if I'm trying to, what is the range of integer byte? It's minus 128
My 128 to
to
127.
127. And let's say
Right.
then I want to return, I have done this a plus b, right?
Twenty. Yes.
Then what's the range if both numbers are 127 and 127? Can I return it in the byte?
No. No.
Because it will exceed the range of byte, right?
Yes.
So, and this number is way too less. I mean, Java won't do this
Yes.
with every data type,
Right.
but because this value is way too less, and usually we deal with the numbers greater than this usually, because even if you order
Okay.
some burger and some other stuff,
Yes. Yes.
then
Yes.
usually it will cost more than 100.
Right.
And it's not like, but this is developed in USA, right? And earlier it was way too less when
Right.
Java was developed. Then usually it will cost send some cents for a burger or something. But the thing
Okay.
is again that if we are, because they have not created this just for to sell burgers, right? You can
Right.
buy electronics and you can book flight tickets and you can do a lot of items. So then
Okay.
too at that time also that 127 number was way too less, and there
Right.
might be a high chance that it's going to, this number will cross the range of this number again and again. So
Right.
they have added a check. They say, okay, if you are adding two numbers, we don't know which
Right.
number you are going to
Right.
take, right?
Right.
It can be minus 128 or minus 127. So you,
Right.
there is high probability that you will cross the range of this number.
Right.
So what they have done is they've said, okay, it's 127 to 127. The maximum number that you can create out of it is 254.
254.
So in which range it falls? It falls in the range of short,
No,
because
short.
short can
Hmm.
take 32,000 something.
Yes, yes.
But they don't go with the short as well.
Right.
They have gone with the integer.
Indeed.
So if you try to add something, then it will be a integer. Okay.
Okay.
And now if I run this, which method will be called? If I call this 10 and 10, which method will be called?
It should come.
We have covered one interview question already. Then
Okay.
this is different one.
Okay.
Okay, integer will be called or byte will be called?
It should call integer call.
Why?
No idea actually.
Come again.
No, actually, I don't have actually a real reason.
Okay,
Hmm.
we when we were having class of this uh, primitive data types, I mentioned you I mean you were there, right, in
Yes,
the
yes,
first
yes,
class.
yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. So there at the time I mentioned that there are four types which we use to handle integers, right?
Right.
Long integer, short, and byte.
Shorter. Yes, yes.
So, and in similar way, there are two data types which we use to handle the decimal numbers, float
Yes.
and double,
Float and double.
right?
Yes.
And I mentioned at a time that there are some default that Java consider when you use something.
Okay.
Remember?
Yes.
Okay, so for integer numbers, what it takes as a default?
Uh, that I don't remember, but
Okay, it takes integer as a
integer. Okay.
default. If you are sending
Okay.
this,
It will take integer.
it will consider this number as an integer.
Okay.
And if you used it like this, then it will take it as double,
Double.
right? Decimal numbers it will take as double. And in
Okay.
integer, if you want to use it as a long, then you need to
L.
put L.
L.
And if
Yes.
float, then you need to put
F.
F,
F. Right.
right? Remember?
Yes.
And
Yes.
if you want to use it as short and byte, then you need to typecast it and
Okay.
mention it short or byte. Cool.
Okay.
So let's run this, and you can see integer add is called, right?
Okay.
And now, well, let's do one thing. So int add as integer as default handler for math integers are int in Java. Cool.
Okay.
And then if I add byte over here, and then again byte over here,
Right.
so I
It's a micro.
typecasted it, right?
Right.
And now if I run this,
Then byte
then
will
byte
call.
is called. Okay.
Perfect.
And
Right.
there is another way that you can do that. You can do just byte a equals to 10, and then
Then.
byte
Okay.
byte b equals to 20, and then you can, instead of typecasting it, you can also do this a and b.
All right.
It will work in the same way.
Okay.
Okay,
The
byte add
perfect
is
way.
called. Let's remove this, and okay. Okay, this is the second item. Now let's go again over here. Okay, now we have to overload it methods.
Okay.
And now what I'll do is I'll again do the same thing, but with short. short short short. What will happen now? Short.
Actually, right now you are calling integer and byte, so it will call integer byte.
Okay, so if I try to run, remove this and try to run, then these two will be called, right?
Yes.
The answer is
Wow.
compile time error.
Okay. Again.
Yes, because in short as well,
Okay.
because the short range is 30,000 and 32,000. The maximum that we can get is
Okay.
65, 700 something. For
So
this also,
different type,
we need,
return type,
yes, we need to
different
make
type. It calls
integer.
short.
Yes, we need to remove. Earlier it was short, right? But
Hmm.
if you take the maximum of two short, then it will exceed the range. The same thing that happened with the byte.
Yes, yes. So it give preference to return type.
Yes, so return type you need to mention it as integer.
Okay. Then it will call
Now if we run this, then it will work normally.
integer byte. Okay.
And if I want to call the short one, then what I'll need to do, I need to
Short.
typecast it to short, right?
Okay.
And if I run this, it will do this. Cool.
So return type preference in return type preference is given as for the return type.
No. The thing is, usually it goes normal. It's
Okay.
just a special case for byte and short because the range
Yes.
of byte and short is way too small to be
Small.
considered.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because the thing is, in if you go with the range of integer, the integer range is 200, 200, 200 crore, 14 lakh, and it goes something like that, then
Right.
70,000
Right.
or 80,000 something.
Right.
So 200 crore, I mean, if you go with the Western terminologies, then it will be 2 billion in something.
Right.
So for working in billions, it's way too high number because 1
Right.
billion is Indian rupees INR 8,000 crores.
Right.
So usually no one will deal with this kind of numbers.
Right.
So they're like, okay, if you're trying to add two integers, then we won't force you to convert it into the long or the
Okay.
double because they have the larger capacity to hold numbers. Because usually we don't go with this high usually. And if you are dealing with this kind of numbers, then you need to go with the big integers and big decimals.
Okay.
So these are the classes in Java that you can use. But there are only few people or only few number of developers that use these kind of high numbers and they want to add or divide or multiply these numbers. So, and if they want to do it, then they can Google it and take care of things themselves. But for the smaller numbers, a lot of people are going to work with the smaller numbers. So they haven't taken any risk, and they even mentioned that okay, if you are doing some additions on some different operation on the numbers, if you want to save the memory, because by default it takes integer, right? Everything will be integer.
Right.
But if you want to save memory, then you need to work it smartly and you need to make sure that the total sum won't exceed the number and there will be a lossy conversion. Otherwise, the language will get a bad word of mouth. That, okay, this language does not even care about this. We are having so much
Okay.
issues.
Yeah.
So they have taken care of this two items only.
Okay.
So now if I do one thing that in similar way, if I do uh, now long
Right.
and for long, see with integer I have written integer as well. It's just with these two. If I do long and if I do long and then I need to change it to long as well, right? Now if I do math dot add and then 10 and 10, what will happen? It will call integer only, right?
Integer only. Right.
I want to call the long, then I need to
Long.
add L, right?
I'll. Yes.
So now it long is called. Now
Yes.
tell me one thing, that now there is a long, right? And long can take care of number which are greater than the range of 214 crore, right?
Right.
So 214, so once 10 100 and then 1000 10,000 lakh 10 lakh crore 100 crore. So if I put it over here, then it will call integer, right?
Yes.
Because it is in the range of integer. Ones, tens, 100,000, 10,000 lakh 10 lakh crore 100 crore. Okay, cool. But what if I add two more zeros? Now it is in the range of
Long.
long, and now if I call it, what will happen?
I think it will give the error.
Why won't it call
Okay.
long?
Actually, it will call default integer.
Yes, and there will be an error, right?
Error.
It will show you error, the number is too large,
Yeah.
number too large, right?
Okay.
It won't call the long. For long you to call, you need to mention L, or you need to typecast, or you need to
Yes.
declare the variable as long.
Right.
Java won't convert the number.
Yes.
Okay, and then again we have done this thing. Then there is another item. Let's say this thing, right? I'm using short, and this is already working code that I've copy and pasted, right?
Right.
So let's say I have short, 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 and a plus b was giving me error, right?
Yeah.
What about if I typecast it to short? Now will it work or not?
Short. What are the values? Short.
I mean, it doesn't matter. We are trying to call it.
Okay.
Will this compile or not?
These will okay. The return type is change.
Okay, let me just copy paste it near the code that was already working, right?
So here return type has changed.
Yes.
It should work.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Why it's giving error? Because the number of parameters are different. So let me add short c as well. And but over here, you can see that it's already giving error, right?
Right.
So it won't work because what you are doing, if you do this kind of stuff,
Mhm.
these are trick questions that we are doing right now.
That's
Okay.
right.
So when you do this, you are just converting a as a
Yeah.
short,
Okay. Okay.
and then
Not
you are
a.
adding it with an integer.
Okay.
So what's happening that your a plus b is like adding short with an integer and adding short with an integer. What
Okay.
Java will do, it will give you again
Thrown
an
error.
integer. So
Okay.
if you want to make it work, then you need to do it in this way. That
Okay.
convert the sum into the short,
Right. Right.
right? So this is the only way in which you can make it compile. Okay, otherwise it won't compile. Okay, so we have put it over here. So let's call it multiply because it's a little different, and we are multiplying it. Cool. Then we can compile. There is no issue. And let's add multiply over here as well, and call that math dot multiply, and 10 and 20. And we want short, so we need to typecast it short. Okay, cool. See, if this is also interview question, but if you have only short, right, and you are trying to pass it to as an integers, then also it
Right.
won't work. You need to specify short
Short.
only.
Right.
You need to typecast it
Right.
short. And if I run this, now it will work fine. Short multiply, right?
Okay.
But the value will be wrong because I'm doing 10 into 20. Okay, short it can handle.
Yes.
Okay,
Now it will be wrong.
minus 158. Both are negative.
Yes.
Both are positive numbers, and its multiplication is coming as negative.
Yes.
Because the thing is, for positive numbers we use 0, and for negative numbers we use 1.
Right.
So we have a shorter window, right? We have only 16 bits, and we are trying to put the value of 4 byte,
Right.
32 bit. So what it's doing, it just it rotates the value, and it's make the most significant bit positive, which makes the number negative. So whenever we increase the range, we get the negative number.
Right.
So the range is different, so we never do this, but it's just an interview question. We are never going to make sure that it returns short, because it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Just interview question it is. So methods multiply, cool. So this is we done with the integers, right?
Right.
So let's go and now start working with, over here it's multiplication, and then let's go with the double, public and float, and add float a, float b. Cool. And let's do float add, return a plus b. It will work, no error, because the only change in data Java takes care for short and byte for numbers whose values are less than a billion. Then for the
Right.
numbers whose value are greater than a billion, Java won't interfere with its data type if you want to perform some arithmetic operations. So double add. Okay, why I'm doing this? Just copy paste. Okay, so instead of float, I'm doing double. Cool. Double and double and double. Cool. And then go to the runner. And now tell what will be the output if I'll do these are integers. Now we will do math dot add, and I will do 10.0 and 20.0. Which method will be called? Which
Math
method?
dot double will call.
Why?
The type is double.
Yes,
Yeah,
default data type is doubled.
double.
S for math decimal numbers default Java primitive data type is double. Okay,
Right.
so if I run this, double will be called, and if I add, do 10.0f and 20.0f, now what will happen?
It will look for float.
Float will be called, right?
Yes.
Now float will be added because we need to mention def when we need to use
Right.
float. We
Right.
need to mention L when we need to use long.
Right.
So we have done this now, but another example. And let's suppose now I have created, these are for two items, right? For two parameters, number of parameters.
Yeah.
Now what I'm going to do is I will create a float, public void float. Oh sorry, void and float can't be together. And then add, again I'm using add, right? But I'm using this float A, float B and float C. Cool. I have these three. Cool.
Mm.
And okay, first let's say that I have removed this float
Float.
and we are calling float from before. Will the float go to the double or not?
Not got. I didn't get the question. What?
Okay, they're giving different
Okay.
error. Okay, my question is that we
Mm.
were calling float, right? And I have
Right. Right.
committed it out here.
Yes. Yes.
But in runner we are
Yes.
calling this float.
Right.
Will it go and work with the float, with the decimal, with the double, or will it throw an error?
It should show the error.
Double.
Okay. Okay. It cannot.
Mm, Wait a sec, let me show you if it's over here. See, these are the things, okay,
Mm.
what is called type promotion.
Okay.
If, and this is how it goes. Cool. This
Okay.
is the,
Yes. This is flip
if
runs.
you don't have byte but you have short,
Mm.
then the
It will go
byte will
short.
go to the short. If you have short, if you don't have short, it won't go and check for the byte, it will go and check for the int. If you
Okay.
have int, and if you don't have int, then it will, and if
Mm.
you have long, then it will go and work with
Long.
the long.
Long.
And then you can mention that, okay, before when we were trying to send the values of integer, right,
Mm.
which have the value greater than uh, 2 billion, then why there was some error? You should have asked this question.
Yes.
Here. Okay, so see over, where is the, okay, so this over here there is an error, right?
Right.
Because the error is here because these numbers Java
Yeah. We.
cannot hold, because when we write this number over here, Java try to compile the code, right?
Right.
So it needs to hold value, this number, it need to hold it
Yes.
somewhere, right, before sending it to
Yes.
somewhere.
Yes. Yes.
So but default data type is integer. So it
Right.
will treat it as an integer, but this value
Mm.
cannot fit into the integer. So
Right.
the error is not coming due to the overriding or due to the type promotion,
Right.
because we cannot even hold this value int, because it happened cos int a, can I do byte b equals to 127? I can do this, right?
Yes.
But if I try to do byte 2 in to
No.
128, it is
Not
throwing
possible.
error, right?
Right.
So in similar way, over here what's happening, if I try to hold a value of integer this, it will throw an error
Yes.
that number
Yes.
is too large. So that is
Yes.
happening over here. It's not like type
Right.
promotion is not working. It's
Okay.
like we cannot hold the default data type is, if I try to
Yes.
put it in this way, the default data type is integer,
Yes.
and I cannot hold this number as an integer. So that's why the error,
Okay.
not due to the
Okay.
type promotion. That's why it is a confusing interview question. Type promotion would work, but as it is a default, it won't be, we won't be able to hold it. And if we won't be able to hold it and there is an error before it holding it, how can I type promote it? If it's an integer, I can promote it to long, but if
Right.
it's not able to hold it in integer, type promotion is the later item, not
Right.
before.
Right.
So if I have long and if I don't have long, then only float and double can take care of it, right?
Right.
So you have this in your notes, so remember this thing. Okay, so type promotion, should I write it over here? Okay, okay, it's 11. Cool. So let's end our class over here. Let
Right.
you try to work
Yes.
with
Yes.
this. All the things
Yes.
that I
Yes.
have
Yes.
mentioned
Yes.
over here, you need to take care of everything.
Right. Right.
Because method overloading seems quite easy, but it's usually goes out of
It
hands
is on.
many times. Okay, 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 let's take few more examples. Because say public void, okay, add. Now I have short a, okay,
Right.
and int b.
Right.
Cool. And sys out. Okay, now we are aware that if I try to add these two, I need to return integer, right? We are aware of it.
Right.
If I want to do return a plus b, but what if, okay, okay, so add, add, okay, and my math, add and short and int. Cool.
Right.
And let's override it with reversed, with a reversed number. Okay, so what is this? Short int or an int and short. Cool.
Okay.
You remember it, right? Just
Mm.
see it again. Short int and
Mm.
int short. Cool,
Okay.
because it's allowed. The first
Right.
interview question is whether this is allowed or not. This
Yes.
is allowed
Now,
because sequence are different, number of
sequence are
parameters
different.
are same, even the types are same, but their sequence are different, so it is
Okay.
allowed. Okay,
Allow. Okay.
so it is allowed, so it will work. It usually all these questions are interview MCQ questions, or
Okay.
sometimes they will ask in the same way that I am doing, but instead
Okay.
of this, they will use the sum editor, because ID will give you the whether there is an error or not.
Okay.
So if remember short int short. So now
Mm.
in runner, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do math dot add. Cool. And inside this, if I try to send 10 and 20, okay, wait, if I do 10 and 20, it will look different. So let's go and make it three number.
Yes.
Int short int, let's take int b short and byte. Let's change the byte a, short b, and int c, and then reverse it. Then in int a, short b, and byte c. I just reversed the order, right?
Yes. But sys out, we have to change sys out also.
Come again. Okay,
Sys
cool.
out is same.
Okay, okay, short byte, short int, and
In
in,
short, right.
okay, in short byte, in short int and byte.
Right.
Then if I try to add 30, okay, oh, boom, which one will be called? Why?
Which one to call? It will call byte short int
It will call byte short int. Why?
because
See,
hmm, byte
over
short
here,
int.
what is mentioned? The type promotion facility is there in Java, right?
Right.
But type promotion facility goes from here to here, right?
Yes.
In the way the diagram is created.
Yes.
And what you are trying to do, you are
Byte
saying
short
that
int.
if you're trying to send 10,
Hmm.
10 is considered as integer, right?
Yes.
10, 20, 30, you are sending all integers because
Yes.
you haven't changed
Yes.
anything, so default it's treated as
Yes.
integer. So over here it will treat it as integer, right? Int a,
Yes.
it's fine. But for the byte a,
Hmm.
can it hold the integer? Type promotion goes from here to here,
Hmm.
not backwards. Integer
Okay.
cannot be held by byte, because if you
Okay.
try to use some if you try to use some common logic,
Hmm.
then it was when we were trying to add 2 byte, then Java was like, okay, these are way too small numbers, you need to consider using integer,
Okay.
because there some might cross the value of their range. So why will Java allow integer, which they know that has a larger range than byte? Why
Right.
they will allow it to get type promotion? I mean, it will not promotion, demotion. Why will it allow type
Demotion.
demotion?
Okay.
There is no concept of type demotion in Java, because it
Okay.
will create a lossy conversion. Where
Right.
if they allow it, then the byte a will be negative number, even though it's a positive number.
Okay.
So there is no suitable items, because this byte a is not able to hold the integer, right?
Okay.
So there will be an error. So this is out of question. Then if
Okay.
we go here, then integer a can hold the value that we are sending 10, but the
Right.
short b now cannot take the value of 20.
Right.
While it seems that 20 can be held by the short b, because the short range is 32,000 something, but the thing is it is coming as an integer, because Java don't know what value you are sending, or you might
Okay.
send in the future. So they don't allow, because it will demotion, type demotion. So if I remove this and try to compile it, see, this is compile time polymorphism, right? So it will go give compile time errors. So
Okay.
no suitable add method found.
Okay.
Cool. So this is one thing. And public, now we'll do something else. Int add. Cool. Let's say now int a and then float b. Cool. Sys out int. You must have thought that you know this, my math overloading and writing, right?
Hmm.
So this happens a lot of time. People think that they know. I mean, these are nitty gritties. Usually, most of the time, people get confused in this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So it's not like if you are unable to. Okay, the one thing is now, if I do the a plus b, what should be the output?
It actually it will give output in float, but type is integer, so it we have to convert in float.
We don't need to convert it into float. See, this is again some common sense.
Right.
If I'm trying to add something which has the smaller size, like byte and
Right.
integer, so byte and
Right.
integer, and we have already seen this, it's not like that we
Yes.
haven't seen this.
Hmm.
If I try to, we have already tried to add byte and integer. Over here also you can see byte short and integer, we have tried to sum it up, and what's the output? The largest value set.
Largest value.
So it's common sense. So Java,
Hmm.
the people who developed it, they also have it, because we have it, so they also have it, and we might
Hmm.
consider that they have created the language, so they are a little bit more
Hmm.
advanced or well researched people. So they
Okay.
have considered this thing as well, because even if we can think it, they can also think it.
Okay.
So float we need to write. Okay, so this is also a interview question. Usually it will come as this. Okay, will it compile or not? So this is how it goes. I'm skipping it. Hi. Okay, somehow screen recording is working. It's nice. I'm audible. I'm audible. Okay. Yes. I think it's fine now. Okay. My battery was dead. Now it's working fine. Let me just check. It start streaming. Oh, okay. It's working. I don't know how I now, but it's cool if it's working. Let's go ahead and okay. So we have created this, right? Nice and clean. So then again we goes to public and then float. Then I will do float A. That's why float and then int B. Cool. And we'll do sys out. Oh, why I'm doing this? Just copy paste. Cool. And over here we can do float and we can do over here int. And now if I try to call math.add then 10. Okay, let's add few more parameters over here. Let's float int float and let's say double D. Okay, so if I add double D, then what will happen? If I do over here D, the return type should be double. Cool. So double and then D, and let's just sum it up and let's take the double at the top. Take the double at the top. Cool. Okay, and D and double, because like highest value should be there, the range type. Then if I try to send 10 20, if I try to send 10 20 30, what will happen? Yes, first thing is I will try to send 10 20 30. The other thing will be I'll try to send math.add 10f 10.0f then 20 and then 30.0. Cool. What will be the output? And let me see one more time. Double and float and integer, float and double. So okay, cool, this is also nice. Add 10 10 10.0 f and 10.0 and math.add okay 10.0 then 10.0 f and then 10 and then math.add. Which examples we have covered? This one we have covered in integer and then cool, then 10.0 10.0 and 10.0. okay, cool. Now tell me what will happen in each cases. See, these both method return 3 numbers. And why I'm saying number? Because whatever I say you, I mean you can just try to focus in my language. So if I'll say number, right, so it's not like I'm saying it, I mean it's number as well, but if you see the integer class and you go inside and it extends the number, and if you check which are the classes that number usually, okay, I need to, okay, cool, no issues. So I won't be able to find the child classes of it directly because I need to make some changes, but no issues. So we have seen the integer is a number, right? So let's check what about float. Float is also a number. Then what about double? Double is also number. So these all are numbers. Every integer class is short, everything is a number. So all is numbers. So these are wrapper classes and all are considered as numbers. Okay, so there are 3 numbers. Cool. So now you get it what I'm saying from numbers. So there are 3 numbers that we have. and but it is arranged one in the increasing of their size, increasing order of their capacity, and one is in decreasing order of their capacity. Double float int and one is int float double. It will be different. It's not like I've written this just to make sure that it will be easy for you to understand. In real life it will be shuffled. It's not like in the sorted order. Cool. Let's go back, or you want to see a little bit more? Let's change this it int a b and then double d and then double d float a and int b. Are you done over here? Let's move back. Okay, cool. Oh, runner. Let's. Okay, so what will be the output for this? Okay, you are saying integer float double. Okay, for here. Why? And why this will work and this will give error? Yes. Okay. Which one? 33 or 30? Why first one won't give error? Or you want to change? Okay. But we don't have all integers method, right? Why? Due to type promotion. Okay, cool. So you are saying that due to type promotion it will work. And why type promotion won't work in this? Second. Eh, okay, because it's usually typed emotion and which is not allowed in Java. Okay, cool. This one. It will call which one? Same. Okay. And will be a type promotion? Yes. No. Okay. You're saying double float and integer will be called type promotion. Okay, cool. Now. See, if we run this, then what is which one? Even the oh shit, my bad. Even if I remove all this, okay, only one is there. And if I try to run it, what is saying that add method is ambiguous for me. Why? Because if you go inside yes, because if this is the perfect, okay, because both are not perfect, all are integer, right? And both can be used after the type promotion, both methods can be used, so it will get confused at which one to use, right? So like I mentioned, if you know that you know, then but you don't know. So reference to add is ambiguous. Cool. uh, 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 and what about others? Now you have some additional data, then do you want to modify your answer? Okay, cool. Let's okay, you're saying that rest of your answers are correct, right? Okay, and this is going to give error exactly because no suitable is found. Correct. and same is going to happen with this as well. And these two are normal method calls, so it won't happen, it will work fine. Yes. Okay, so there is no single argument. If I haven't made two methods, then it would have worked fine. But because I made two methods and with type promotion, there is no ambiguity. Right now, there is no ambiguity. See, these two methods, they're completely different and perfectly fine with the concept of overloading. But the thing is, with addition of the type promotion, now it will be ambiguous because there is no definite answer for that which one to use, but we have created two method calls which give the exact same data, then it will work fine. But if you try to depend on the type promotion in this type of cases, then it won't work because it will give error. And which error will it provide? A reference to id is ambiguous. Cool. And I have done it with the 3 parameters. It could have done with the 4 parameters, or usually it goes only till 2 because during interviews we already have less time, and it comes usually as a MCQ. Most of the time, in 80% of the time, it comes as MCQ, and in rest of the 5 to 10% of the time, he will share his screen with you. And what will happen, because I also take the same interviews because people used to take from me as well. So this copy, he will just try and paste it in here, and then he will show you this. Okay, will it compile or not? Our example is little long, but usually it will be less of 10 to 20 lines. Then you will be given, okay, what will be the output? Then you need to try to answer that, okay, this will give you compile time error, or will it compile or not? If it compile, what will be the answer? So this is how it goes. It's all interview question. Cool. So I think we have already covered different cases of this. Now you can just play it around with them, and then it is important topic. Oh, cool. And it is why I'm saying that you need to practice it, because we have overloaded this method, right? The same concept will going to be applied on constructors, and we are not going to do constructor overloading because the concept is same, because methods and constructors are same almost. They can take parameter. It is specifically designed to initialize the instance parameters, but the thing, I mean, the way it takes the parameters, it's same parameter list. It's just the method name, there's not method name, we need to use the class name only, but we can override it as well. So constructor overloading is also dependent on this as well. There is the same concept, there is no difference. So two topics will be covered if you try it and practice this as well. Cool. So let's end our session today, and we'll connect tomorrow.